welcome to Matthew's Morsels for One. I'm Marisa Vega, your host, volunteer program lead with Matthew's House Hospice. On today's show, I'm excited to present to you Jasmine Rizzi. And Jasmine is our intake coordinator, and she'll be here a little bit later talking about her function and what she does to support Matthew's House Hospice, the wonderful things she offers our community, and she's going to be making for us today a delicious, delicious risotto with pancetta and beautiful sweet peas and some onions. Jasmine, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Jasmine, why don't you go ahead and tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
So my name's Jasmine Rizzi. I have been nursing for 35 years, primarily in cancer care and palliative care. I had my PAL certification 5 years ago. I have one son and a dog, and life is good.
I love it. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. And Jasmine, what is it that you do at Matthew's House Hospice?
So when I got hired, first of all, I worked in the community for a long time, and I saw this job, and I'd seen it posted a couple of years ago, and then I saw it again. I thought I might like to do this, and I was hired to be an intake and outreach coordinator. The title's changed to be part of the integrated care team and the nurse of that integrated care team. So I facilitate people coming into Matthew's House. So I will get a referral, I will review the referral medically and see where they're at, and see if they're ready to come into Matthew's House. If they're not ready to come into Matthew's House, I make home visits and I support them and educate them about Matthew's House until the time they're ready to come in. Another part of the program is I go in to see people that might need respite care, and I get to know them and their family and see what kind of respite care they need and facilitate that as a 1 to 2 week stay here. And then the final thing is I work with one of the other coordinators, and I sometimes organize what they call hospice at home, which is getting PSWs and sometimes a nurse in for a short shift to help out. So that's basically my role.
That's fantastic. That's a lot. And now you said referrals, and how do you get those referrals? Where do they come from? So
sometimes they come from word of mouth through the community.
Okay.
Right? That's a big one. And I will follow up with anybody who calls me.
Okay.
And I will go out to the home and try and see what you need. Sometimes they come through the local health integrated network or the community care. So it comes that. Sometimes it comes through a doctor or a nurse.
Okay.
So it can really come anywhere. And the minute I get a referral, I definitely try to find out what kind of support that person might need. It might not actually be end of life. It might be respite care or hospice at home, or just linking them with some other resources. And I just do that. And so that's about it.
That's fantastic. And now you said you also will go into someone's home to do, I'm sorry, what did you call it? You would go into assessment.
Yes, an assessment. Right, because everyone, you can have a life-threatening illness. That could be anything. It can be Parkinson's, it can be Lou Gehrig's disease, it can be a cancer, it can be a diabetes that has, become with many complications. And I just go in with my nursing background and just say, look at what that person needs, not both medically, but physically, emotionally, socially, right, spiritually. How can we best help them so that they can manage their disease process? Sometimes it's just some teaching to navigate the system, right? But we all need help once in a while. Absolutely. And that's what I try to be here for.
Absolutely. So an example of respite. what would that look like? They would come to Matthew's house, and what would that look like?
So they'd come to Matthew's house. So respite can be two things. It can be called pain and symptom management. And so I had a gentleman come in, his pain was uncontrolled, and we got his pain under control, and he went home, which was great with the new pain regime. Or it can be respite care where, say, someone with dementia whose family just needs a break. Maybe they have a lot of medical appointments, or they're going for some surgery or procedure, and they just come in and we provide that constant one-on-one care where we get them washed up, we feed them, we take care of them, we make sure they're comfortable. So it can range from being in here for 5 days to being in here 2 weeks.
Wow, okay.
And if we do see any new symptoms that occur or symptoms that aren't managed well, even if it's caregiver relief, we talk with the family and the client, if possible, to see how we can at best help them.
And Matthew's house is a magical place for that, isn't it?
Yes, I feel that way. I used to come and visit, and I felt that way, and now that I work here, I feel that way again.
That's fantastic, and we really, really appreciate everything that you do, and we're so happy that you've joined our team.
Well,
and
thank you very much.
I'm excited to get to cooking. Matthew's Morsels for One is about teaching our community who perhaps live alone how to make quick, delicious meals for themselves that don't always have to be, something nutritious and something that sticks to your bones. And today you're making risotto, and absolutely you can make a big amount. You could double the recipe, and then you can eat it a couple days. It would last, what would you say, how many days?
I've had it last at least 5 days, yes.
In the fridge, right?
Yes, in the fridge, right, and I've had a little bit for lunch or for dinner, yes, yeah.
Perfect, and I would say it's a good hearty meal, and something that would be really, really good to do almost in the winter, in the fall, and in the winter time.
And it's easy to digest too. So if if you're elderly and you have some problems with swallowing or digestion, it's actually very good for that.
Oh, that's a great point. That's very good. That's a great point. So I had to look up a little bit of the history of risotto. I'm ashamed to say I have Italian background, but I didn't know the history of risotto, so I looked it up. And rice was introduced to Sicily and Spain in the 14th century, and legend has it that a church-sponsored stained glass colorist was pranked by an assistant in September of 1574 when he added a pinch of saffron to his maestro's risotto, and the defining recipe risotto alla milanese was born.
You can make all kinds of risotto. Today I thought we would make pancetta and pea risotto. And pancetta is an Italian bacon.
Instead of pancetta, you did say you could use bacon.
Yeah.
You can also use ham.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, you can also use ham. Or if you wanted to keep it a little bit more healthy conscious, you could use turkey, or you can use chicken, or you can omit the protein altogether.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's the great thing about the risotto. You can use anything, really. You can just use stock and wine, and that's it. And throw some Parmesan cheese. Always, we don't have it here today, but always when you finish your risotto, have a little bit of Parmesan cheese on it.
Parmesan cheese, that's lovely. It just kind of rounds it off and finishes it up nicely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Very good. All right, so what are some of the ingredients that you're using today?
So we have the rice here, the Italian rice. I can't really say what the name for it in Italian, but It's Italian
Arborio.
rice. Yeah.
Arborio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Arborio rice.
We have some peas and we have some pancetta. Right?
Now, does it matter, Jasmine, if you have fresh peas, frozen peas, canned peas?
No. If you have frozen peas, you need to cook them, right? Because then it will take away from the cooking. If you put them in frozen, they will cook, but it will take the risotto a lot longer because it will take away from cooking of the risotto.
Right, because you have to thaw them and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And so now we have an onion, and go ahead. What are you going to do to the onion?
So I'm just going to chop it. We don't need to use this whole onion. We just need to use a little bit of onion to give it a little bit of flavor.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah. And now, of course, if you've got an allergy to onion or you don't like onion, you can absolutely omit it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But just know that it will alter the flavor of your dish.
Right.
But that's okay. It'll just...
And you could use, if you don't like onions, some people could use a little bit of garlic instead.
Nice.
Right?
That's nice. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what I love about this dish is that you can just play with it and have so much fun with it.
Yes, that's fantastic. I love that. And now the process you're doing now is dicing. So if you can see that, she's just dicing up some onions, and she just cut up a few pieces and then put them on the side and then just chop them up. There you go. I'm just giving it, would you say that's a rough chop, finely minced, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want it any big pieces in the rice. You just want it to blend in nicely with the rice.
Right, because although it softens, as you said, if you've got an issue or a problem with swallowing, you want your pieces as small as you can possibly get them so that you won't have an issue with that.
Yeah,
You're very good at this, Jasmine.
Well, I cook every day.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy cooking?
Yes, I do.
I love cooking. Yes, I enjoy cooking. Now, do you find yourself making big meals every night, or?
So it's just me and my husband, but I will probably make enough for 4 people so that I always have leftovers.
For lunch.
Right. Yeah, for lunch.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Right.
And that's the beauty of any recipe. You can double it up. And now, in your opinion, would you say risotto freezes well?
I've never done that, but I'm sure there shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. That's something we must try.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, my risotto, when I make it, doesn't stay long.
You don't have an opportunity to find out if it'll freeze.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Gone.
Yeah. So I've cut the onion. You don't need a lot. You just need enough to give it a little bit of flavor.
Perfect.
Okay?
Perfect. So Jasmine, what are we starting off with here right now?
So we're going to start off with, 2 things. We've already started. We need to make a pot of stock. So I already did that. I boiled the water and put in the stock cube. And today we're going to take a little bit of butter, about a tablespoon.
About a tablespoon?
So we're going to fry the onions a little bit and then for a few minutes to make them
translucent.
Yes.
Perfect.
And now normally we so we're just going to do that for a few minutes, and then we're going to add in the pancetta.
Okay.
Normally most ingredients get added in later on in the time, but we're going to add the pancetta because it's not cooked at all. Right?
Okay.
But sometimes I've actually used prosciutto instead, and then I put that in later. I just
break it up.
And just put it in, and it's cooked in a few minutes.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, and that's what I love about this is that you can kind of use whatever you have around.
In your pantry, in the house, yes.
Yeah.
In your fridge, yes.
And there's no set way of doing it.
Right.
So.
Right, and that is true. Go ahead, you can add that. And that is true because I know that in cooking, baking perhaps is a science.
Yes.
And you have to follow the recipes.
Yes, yeah.
But in cooking, you can tweak it however you
Exactly.
like. And I also know that with risotto, depending on the region in Italy, it could be completely different.
Exactly.
So it really is, it's all a taste preference.
Right. The biggest thing I think with risotto is slowly getting the stock to absorb into the rice and letting it cook like that and not boil away and getting that creamy texture.
Yes.
I think that's the only thing you really have to remember.
Yes.
Right, and I'm just going to put this in, and we heat up the rice this way because it gets the rice to kind of like burst open.
And you want to toast it because it gives it a really nice flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And it may seem like a lot of work right now, but it really isn't.
No.
And once it's done, you've got your... And how much rice did you put in there? I'm sorry, I forgot to ask you.
I think we put in about, that was 3/4 of a cup.
3/4 of a cup.
Yeah.
And remember folks, that when you cook rice, it doubles in size.
Exactly.
It doubles in size. So a 3/4 cup would probably do fine. I would say if you're going to make it your main meal, would probably do fine.
Absolutely.
For how many people would you say?
For two people with probably a little bit left over.
Right. So Matthew's Morsels, for one, gearing to people who live alone, you can probably eat this for the next 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Which is great. So you make it once, you spend the time, you make it once, and then you can eat for 2-3 days, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And pretty much when you have this, there's really nothing else that you need.
No.
It's a meal in itself.
And so this is where you make the risotto. Is you take the stock and you put that in.
Oh, listen to that.
And see, can you hear that?
Yeah.
And this is what you're doing to create the risotto. So we'll put this over here on here. So, and again, we're doing it slowly, right? So that that's what you do to make the risotto.
And now we just stir it. We continuously stir it until all the stock is absorbed.
Right, and then we put in more, and we keep on going.
Right, until it's completely done. And what this will do is it will puff up the rice. It will start to cook the rice, but it will also ensure that you get a creamy consistency by breaking down all those starches in that rice.
That's exactly it. Yes.
So that's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for this one to be done. I'm excited. So it's been absorbed, and now you're adding some more.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So you just keep stirring and adding until the rice is cooked. And all together, I would say 15-20 minutes.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
15-20 minutes, and your risotto will be done.
Yeah. The biggest thing I think with risotto is slowly getting the stock to absorb into the rice and letting it cook like that and not boil away and getting that creamy texture.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing you really have to remember.
Yes.
Pancetta and pea risotto. 3/4 cups arborio rice, a 1/2 cup pancetta, 1/4 cup finely chopped onions, 1/2 cup fresh peas. If frozen, they must be cooked first, a tablespoon butter or oil, and 1 quart of chicken stock. Use your favorite flavor. Heat the stock to a simmer in a medium-sized pot. Then lower the heat so that the stock just stays hot. In a large saucepan, heat the oil, add the chopped onion and cook until it is slightly translucent. Add the pancetta to the onion and cook for another 2 to 3 minutes. Add the rice to the onions and pancetta and stir briskly with a wooden spoon so that the grains are coated with the fat. Stir for another minute or two until the rice is slightly toasted. Add a ladle of the chicken stock to the rice and stir until the liquid is fully absorbed. When the rice appears almost dry, add another ladle and repeat the process. It is important to stir constantly while the stock is absorbed. Continue adding stock for 20 to 30 minutes or until the rice is tender but still firm to the bite. Stir in the peas and cook for another few minutes. Serve right away and enjoy.
Jasmine, that looks amazing.
Yes, so I used up the stock slowly but surely and ladled it in and let it absorb. And about 10 minutes ago, I added in the peas and let them absorb into the stock and the rice too. So now, as you see, we have like a creamy texture to it, and that's what we did.
That's fantastic. Why don't you bring that right over here?
I will.
That is gorgeous. Look at that. And that cream just happened by you with the starches itself?
And slowly adding in a ladle to 2 ladles of stock.
At a time.
At a time.
Let it absorb.
Then add a couple more, and then finally about 10 minutes ago I added the peas and the rest of this and a little bit of the rest of the stock.
That's fantastic. Why don't you go ahead and put that in there? And just so you're all aware as well, there was no salt or pepper added.
Nope. Because you've got the salt from the butter. If you used oil, it still wouldn't matter. And you have the salt from the pancetta and also from the stock cube itself.
From the stock cube itself. So there's no need to add.
And sometimes, depending on what you're putting in, you might add a little bit of salt.
If it's just a vegetable one, for example.
Right, yeah. Or if the stock didn't seem enough at your last taste, you might. So yeah.
That's fantastic. It's absolutely delicious, and it looks beautiful, and it's hearty, and it's a nice stick to your bone meal. This is fantastic.
And we have one other thing we need to talk about,
yes.
Lisa. What do we put on at the end?
We put on some Parmesan cheese.
We don't have any today, but just buy some Parmesan cheese and it finishes off perfectly.
It just finishes it off beautiful. It absolutely does. And simple morsel, Matthew's morsel for one, simple ingredients. It was onion and it was protein of your choice. For this particular recipe, we used a pancetta because that's what's normally used in risotto. And there was peas, some broth,
and that's it.
And we're done. And we have risotto a la Jasmine. Thank you so much, Jasmine.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Oh, this is so good, isn't it?
Oh my goodness. I can't wait to dig in and try this.
Yeah.
This is yummy. And it's so fast, eh? Let's see here. That is so good. Oh, this would be really nice with a nice glass of wine, Jasmine.
Welcome to Matthew's House Hospice and our new Centre of Excellence, built for the community, by the community. We are a home for compassion in the heart of South Simcoe that offers both residential-based care to people in the last stages of their lives and community-based programs for people dealing with grief or a life-limiting illness. Construction of the $6 million building began in June 2017 and was completed 1 year later. Our new Centre of Excellence is just under 27,000 square feet and is Ontario's newest hospice. Transfer personnel will drive under the heated portico on the Wellington Street East entrance, with all patients being welcomed through the front doors. Let's begin on the first floor, our residential floor. As we enter the Gibson family lobby, you will notice the open, light-filled atrium where one of our many volunteers will greet you. You will notice the spectacular glass-blown flower garden on the east wall. The DeWitt and Mary Chandler Memory Garden is a display of honor, hope, and healing, and is a tribute to the legacy of your loved one. The Patricia Waggle Reflection Room off the lobby is a warm, welcome area for you to gather, relax, and to learn what hospice is all about while viewing the beautiful gardens. Let's go to the heartbeat of the hospice, Kathy's kitchen and dining area, where we can also explore the Flatto Great Room, where families can gather, converse, and share. Enter the Marv Chantler residential wing with 10 private bedrooms. Each room is equipped with a state-of-the-art hospice bed, wardrobe, television, washroom, and day bed for loved ones to stay in the room with patients. The gardens on the east side of the building are an oasis. All patient rooms have doors that swing wide open to allow beds to be wheeled out into the sanctuary. Sprinkled through the gardens are memorial benches in honor of loved ones past. The gardens will be maintained with love by volunteers and include pathways, butterfly gardens, New trees, a water feature, and the Jim Milligan gazebo, complete with barbecue. The M&M Library sits amidst the rooms to offer a space for conversation, education, and family gathering. The Bucko Family Nurses Station is where you will find our professional team of nurses, PSWs, and volunteers, along with our medical director and intake coordinator. Welcome to the second floor, our community hospice floor, offering programs for all, including grief and bereavement counseling, caregiver support, art programs, wellness therapies, and so much more. The atrium is appreciated here as the light shines in and the flowers of the memory garden adorn the wall. The Morning View Foundation Lookout offers a space to gather while enjoying the outdoors and the garden view. This is the Honda Canada Foundation Community Wing. Our Manager of Gifts and Gratitude is here to answer any questions you may have regarding donations and our fundraising programs. Donor Stewardship and Events offices complete the Gifts and Gratitude department. Let's enjoy the Frank and Sally Taylor Great Room with its warming kitchen where you can make your favorite beverage and enjoy the relaxing area with the stone fireplace. Staff offices are down the first part of the hallway with the volunteer coordinator, our CEO and assistant, finance, meaningful living, and grief and bereavement coordinators. Along the way is the Vanderzag Family Room, a peaceful gathering space for clients and families. Across the hall is the Frank and Sally Taylor Library, where the history and memories of the origin of Matthews House Hospice will be displayed. The Debbie Hudson Reflection Room, powered by St. Elizabeth Foundation, is a tranquil space that invites you to take a moment to reflect and perhaps document your feelings and thoughts. We are honored that this is the first permanent reflection room in Canada. The John and Jean Somerville and Family Program Room is a multi-use space that can be divided in two with a rolling wall. This area will host many activities, education opportunities, and events. The Wood Ing Therapy Room offers clients the chance to relax and experience wellness therapies such as massage, Reiki, and reflexology. Our community care coordinator and team lounge round out our second floor. We welcome the greater community to our very active lower level. Starting with the music room, the piano and other instruments are available for those talented people who would like to relax and express through music. With an inventory of rolling tables and chairs, our gathering and event spaces can be set up for any event, such as education sessions, celebration of life events, and meetings. The rooms include media room, gathering spaces, event spaces, spiritual care space, youth and playroom, and counseling offices. There are 3 office spaces here that are available for rent for like-minded organizations. Our operating budget is $2.5 million annually. We are so grateful for the incredible support we receive, including $1 million annually from the government. But the rest of our operating budget is reliant on donations from community, corporations, and individuals. We have an incredible team of volunteers that are available to answer questions or help you in any way possible. Thank you to our community for your continued support. We look forward to continuing to deliver kind, compassionate care.